And let's finish the ninth chapter of The Secret of the Indian by Lynne Reid Banks. Not a whole lot to go. The chapter is called Tamsin Drives a Bargain. Omri and Emma have been able to get the doctors, and Omri has explained to Emma why everything has to remain a secret, and he thinks Emma's kind of okay. As they reached the house, it occurred to Omri, as ironic as the whole business with Patrick going back in time had come up in the first place, it occurred to Omri as ironic that the whole business with Patrick going back in time had come up in the first place, so Patrick wouldn't have to go home, so he could stay and help Omri. Huh, thought Omri. Fine friend. But Patrick was his friend, and even at times when Omri was fed up with him, like now, he still liked him enough to care what was happening to him. Omri and Emma hurried to Omri's room. Omri's first act was to bend over the long house and call softly, "Matron." She came out. She didn't bustle quite so briskly now. Her starched apron was soiled. Her magnificent cap was limp and askew. She looked very tired. "Well, what luck?" "How's Boone?" asked Omri. "How are the others?" "Your cowboy friend is a bit better, though he's still unconscious. He's breathing normally, but he's badly bruised. The Indians," her shoulders slumped a little, "one is hanging between life and death. The bullet in the trenches, another in the leg. I need help desperately." "We've brought you some." She straightened up with relief. Even the erstwhile magnificent cap seemed to stiffen a little. "Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go to it." Emma, meanwhile, had lost no time consigning the medical team to the cupboard, but just before Omri closed the door, Emma, peering at the seed tray, suddenly said, "Whose are these sweet little horses?" "Sweet little horses? God," thought Omri through his teeth, but he kept his temper and said, "The brown one's Little Bear's, the black one belongs to the cowboy." "Can I put the cowboy back in the cupboard?" "What for?" "Well, I want to see how it works in reverse. And you said Patrick might be in Boone's time. Maybe he needs a horse." "Don't be stupid. Patrick will be small like the little people are here. What use would a socking great horse be to him? He can't possibly ride it." "Still, let me." Omri couldn't be bothered making any more objections. Emma tenderly lifted the little black horse between finger and thumb and put it in the cupboard. "Will it go back at the same time the doctors go forward?" "Oh, yes, so let's do get on with it," said Omri impatiently. The door was closed on the live horse and the plastic men. The key was turned. Emma, her ear to the mirrored door, grinned ecstatically at Omri. She could hear tiny voices questioning each other in the darkness. Her hand went to the key, but Omri stopped her. "Listen," he said quietly. "One of the tricky things is, when they see us, trying to get them to believe it, not think they've lost their minds. Our best bet with these modern people is to get Matron to explain." Matron was ready and eager and impatient to get the team out and to work on her patients. "Leave it to me," she said. "Just let me in that cupboard." "But what will you say?" "I've thought it all out," she said. "Most men, if you tell them what to do in a business-like fashion, will follow directions without thinking about it. One proceeds on the assumption that they'll do as they're told, and they do. However, they may be forced to think a bit if they see you two, so I suggest you keep out of the way." She nipped back into the longhouse, presumably to make sure everything was in perfect order, then hurried out, down the ramp, and across to the cupboard. "Right you are," she said. "Open sesame." As she slid through the partly open door, Omri put his hand stealthily in at the top and lifted out the plastic figure of Boone's horse. "Here," he muttered to Emma, "this was your daft idea. You'd better take care of it." She took the little figure from him and looked into its plastic face. "He's happy to be home," she said mysteriously. "Now Patrick isn't completely on his own anyway." And that's the end of chapter 9.